Confused by NHS application? Don't worry, let's talk through it together. I am Alice and I've applied for several NHS jobs and I understand how it can feel. Let's talk about how to do your application the right way that will make your application stand out. Where to look? Platforms you want to search for jobs are NHS job website, the track website, civil service job. Civil service job, this is very important. I think a lot of people don't know about this, but you can actually look for jobs on civil service website. NHS are not the only one that actually offer like job vacancies or job roles like for biomedical scientists. So there's always the NHS, there's the private system, and then also there's civil service. If you're looking for a job in a particular region or a particular specialty that you would like to work in, it's good to turn on your notification, your search notification for those kind of jobs, and then when new jobs matching those keywords pop up, you get email notification from most of this platform, LinkedIn, Track, or NHS job, letting you know that there's a new job vacancy that is actually meeting your your search criteria. Do you want to apply? I think this is a good way because there are sometimes there might be the ginger to go on, you apply and then next week you forget. But then when you have this notification, they always alert you when new job openings that meet your criteria are available. So take note of these places. Job description. Now when you're applying for a job, it is very important. You see how many times I said it is very important for you to actually look at the person specification and the job description. And when you're looking at the person specification and job description, most jobs will always list the essential criteria they want for the job and then the desirable criteria. You want to try as much as possible to meet all criteria. If you cannot meet all criteria, you prioritize your essential criteria, but then also being able to meet the desirable criteria actually gives you an edge. When you're applying for jobs on Track, for example, the first section will actually be to fill in your personal details. The second will be for your qualifications, or like your educational qualifications. While the third will be for your job experience. They want to know what roles you've actually worked in, and then also what you did in those roles and like the duration also. And then the next section you will actually see is the supporting information, and after your supporting information you see the place for you to input details of your reference or your referees, basically, as the case may be. For the remaining part of this video, I'm going to be focusing on the supporting information because that's like the powerhouse of your application. Now let's talk about common mistakes people make in their supporting information. The first is copying and pasting their CV. Like basically some people just copy and paste the CV, like all the places where they wrote of their previous experience or where they worked, just copy and paste that section into your supporting information. That is a big no. Do not do that. Another mistake people commonly make is not addressing every essential criteria. There is a reason why they said it's an essential criteria. So if you're making a supporting information, make sure your supporting information addresses every essential criteria of the job. Don't assume that they would have figured it out from the information I provided earlier. This is because when your application is being screened, panel screen your application against essential and desirable criteria. So if you meet one essential criteria, you get a score. If you meet a desirable criteria, you get a score. So if you do not address every essential criteria, it means you're going to lose out on scores that you could have just gotten for your application. They are going to shortlist based off of people who have actually met both the essential and the desirable criteria, being too vague or generic. In your supporting statement, you're writing, oh, I'm meticulous, I'm a team player, I'm punctual, I'm hardworking, without giving any example. You're just stating these things. That is a very big thing. You want to make sure you give examples as much as you can. You can give examples that will point to 2 or 3 things, like you're hardworking, you're punctual, and that you're a team player. You want to make sure when you're talking about it, you talk about it using the STAR method. If you don't know what the STAR method is, go and check it. Another common mistake is being overly technical without consent. So some people will just put a lot of technical jargon. Oh, I use Unix. Like just list almost all the machines they know, list everything, just pack them inside a paragraph just to throw around big names in the supporting information without those technical words actually fitting into the context. So as much as yes, it is advised for you to use technical words too, the person going through your application knows that you understand like you're familiar, this is your experience, these are things you know. You also want to make sure that you're not using them without context. You're not just throwing technical jargons around in your supporting statement without the right context. You have to explain the context in which you're using it. Oh, I troubleshoot. I worked with troubleshooting so machine. I did audit on so machine. I was able to do so. Like, be very specific. Don't be vague. Don't just throw technical jargons around without context. Make sure your technical jargon fits perfectly in your supporting statement. Now, another mistake people make is forgetting transferable skills. Now, you're mentioning, oh, I have 100% hands to eye coordination, talking about people, talking about troubleshooting of machine, but you also want to remember that you're going to be working as part of a team. You're going to be working with humans. You're not just going to be alone in the midst of machine. So people want to see the transferable skills you have. Can you communicate effectively with a team? Can you work as part of a team? As much as bench skills is good, how is your communication? How do you work as part of a team? What is your problem solving skills? When things don't go as planned, how do you react? those are transferable skills that you also want to mention in your supporting information. Another mistake people make is poor structure. A lot of people, when writing their supporting statement, they just throw all the information right into the 1,500 words. The goal is 1,500 words to meet all the essential criteria, and then you just module upwards. There is no flow. You want to make sure your supporting information as a flow. Let the flow of thought of your supporting information actually mirror your experience. So talk about your, maybe at the beginning you're introducing yourself with your qualification, talk about your experience, you want to talk about your transferable skills, your motivation. Make sure there's a flow of thought. You're not just mix and match in different paragraphs. This paragraph, first sentence is talking about your education, second sentence is talking about your skills. Then the next sentence, you want to make sure you put your supporting information you want to make sure you put your supporting information in paragraphs as much as possible, and let there be a good flow, not tailoring your supporting information to the role. And this can happen when you're applying for multiple jobs over and over again, especially if you're not just streamlining yourself to one specialty. Maybe you're saying, oh, I'm going to be applying to 2 specialties, and there's that tendency of doing, oh, copy and paste like a supporting statement for microbiology and using it to apply for a role in biochemistry, and that way you don't even tailor the supporting information to the specialty or to the role you're actually applying for. And the person is reading it and like, this investigation or whatever you're stating here is not relevant to the role. So you always want to make sure that, as much as yes, I know that you're applying for a lot of jobs, always try to check your supporting statement. Always try to ensure that they are actually matching the role you're actually applying for. Because remember, you're trying to get a job. You're not just trying to count the number. The goal is not, oh, if I apply for 100 jobs, the 101 is the one that I'm going to get. That's not the goal. So you're now trying to like, oh, it's the mark of 101. The goal is to make sure that your application stands out enough and they call you for an interview. So if you're going to be doing something, you might as well do it well. My last thought in this video will be, think of your supporting information as your scored interview before the interview. You have to tick all the boxes on the paper before you can make it to the front of the panel. I wish you the very best in your job application process. Till I come your way again in another video.